Ooh, losing my voice. Let's move the mic a little closer then. Alright. It's been 2 weeks. I think there was a break last week. So it's time for us to read Chapter 1171. RAGNIR. Honestly surprised that wasn't the name of the last week's chapter. Given how much of, I guess like 2 pages or 4 pages of the panel of the chapter was about that last week. But anyway, last week I think it was Death of the Herald. I'm gonna call him the Herald from now on. But yeah, that was what we did last on our last One Piece stream. Although if you've been following the channel in more recent streams, you would have known that I've been playing a lot of Genshin because the Luna 4 update is out. And we did a pull stream last night as well. Anyway, it's like 11 o'clock right now. And I don't expect to be on this stream for more than an hour. But if you'd like to stay up to date on what I'm doing and when I'm doing it, the best way to stay informed would be to join my Discord. That's the best way to know what I'm doing live, so if you want to watch stuff live, that's where you go to do it. Or I should say, that's where you'll get informed about where to go to do it, which is on twitch.tv/sheetstreams. Links to it on the description of every video. Anywho, I guess I don't always remember to bring this up, but I am reading the official Viz of One Piece, which means at the time of recording, you could actually read along with me, or even if you watch these within 4 weeks of me uploading them on YouTube. Because with a break week, the 3 most recent chapters, or basically you have like a 1 month period, basically, of being able to read the 3 most recent chapters. Because there will always be that 4th week that's a break week, where no chapter updates. Anywho, let's just get back into this. That's enough of a long intro. 2 minutes is more than enough. We're going to spend about 2 minutes to 2.5 minutes on each page anyway. Anyway, chapter 1171, RAGNIR on page 1. We got another reader request drawing. It's Zoro being given cat ears by a cat. Someone's putting a cat ear headband on Zoro while he is looking at his sword in the mirror. This is me holding a sword, I guess. There's not a lot to talk about with these. Unless like something really amazing art-wise is happening in these reader requests, I usually don't give them too much mind. And the only reason I'm even talking about it at length at this point is just to fill more time. Okay. So, with that out of the way, let's just move on to pages 2 and 3, because that's where the actual interesting stuff will start. Hey, would you look at that? We're still in the flashback. Haven't cut back to the present yet. Alright. I had a terrible vision. Vision plain as day. I had terrible vision, plain as day. Herald venturing forth from this castle, and laying waste to the world until it was nothing but ruins. It's hard to imagine with the way his wounds healed themselves, that there was actually a means to stop him. Was this Shanks talking about a vision, I'm assuming? Oh no, it's Gabon. Gabon is the one talking right now. Oh, we gotta cut to Jarl with the sword in his head. Yarul. Is it Jarl or Yarul? I do not remember the English pronunciation. I probably should go back and watch the anime in dub. I never went back and caught up with the anime in dub once it picked up again after Dressrosa. So, like, I could go back to start the Dressrosa arc in dub if I really wanted to. And I probably will someday. When I was rewatching the show with my younger siblings, that's what I always did. I always watched the dub with them, because most of them are more familiar with that. Does the treasure of Elbaph really have such power, Yarul? Oh, it's Shanks and Gabon talking to Yarul. Not that I have heard, but it chills my spine to think what might have happened had Loki not been here. So has he been faking not remembering what happened here all this time? Once I am in the Knights of God, dawn will come to Elbaph. Speak your desire, and whatever it is, you shall have it. You've been deprived, my poor son. Wow, look at Garling being the best dad ever for a second there. These miserable peons are not people. Forget what happened in the lower world. Shanks. Hey, Shanks. What's happening to Shanks? Okay. Well, I'm really curious to see what's happening to Shanks. So, this page basically confirms that Jarl is probably faking it. Jarl definitely was talking to these two about the events of what happened to Harold, so Jarl definitely knows. That being said, this is 14 years ago, and he's very old. He could have forgotten legitimately. So, I'll leave some benefit of the doubt there, considering he is the oldest living person, barring maybe Emu being 800 or 900. But Jarl is old, so I'll give him some benefit of the doubt. And he's also got a sword in his head, for Pete's sake. He's got a pretty good excuse for brain damage and memory loss. Alrighty, page 4 and 5, and I'm already seeing that pages 5 is like 2 panels, so this is going to be a short chapter. That's your bad habit again. Don't you dare regret your birth. Shanks is upset that Harold had to die. Oh, that's kind of sad. He was too pure-hearted to deserve that. He didn't deserve to go. He spent his entire life bettering the world and bettering himself. And trying to leave the place a better off for those who came after him. All that we could do is honestly hope that we continue that mission. It's not your fault and you know it. You still have a role to play, Shanks, I guarantee it. Everyone's life has meaning, but you have to keep a level head. This is what he gets for loving his country. He's got Loki there sitting on him. Can we show that? I mean, I'm not going to show panels because this video will get taken down, but he's like a pair of legs with a blood spatter on everything from that point upward. And that's more or less all that's happening on page 5. That's kind of gruesome. I mean, in the panel that we ended on last chapter, he did look like he was disintegrating from that blast that Loki gave him with the hammer. So, yeah, he's, I guess he skipped arm and torso and head day. Can you tell how disturbed I am? It's drawn all black and blurry, so you can't really see anything. But it's drawn in a way where it kind of looks like, from the way it's framed, he doesn't have an upper body anymore. So, alright, so let's go to page 6-7. And once again, I will not make a 6-7 joke. But you are more than welcome to in the comments. I will read them. Looks like we're coming back to Marijoa. That was an exceedingly rare ancient giant warrior, given even greater power and an immortal body. That was nothing short of a monster. And thou sayest it was killed? By whom? What is an Elbaph? Oh, so that's Emu asking these questions. Were you not controlling Harold? Do you not know? Okay. So, do you just, like, plug in and then, like, peace out, and then the body goes on autopilot? We shall have it investigated. Harold's abyss in Elbaph remains attacked. Enough. It will only be the death of more knights. Performing the covenant inflicts a cost upon Mu as well. That's right, Mu. Emu refers to themselves in the singular, with Mu being a like weird old-timey way of saying, or childish way of saying I or me. I'm surprised that they decided to go with Moo as the translation for the Viz manga. I wonder when the dub gets this far, if it has already, I wonder if they're going to use Moo as well. They might. They tend to keep some of the Japanese in there for flavor. Wonder what the live action will go with. Wonder if we'll get an Emu cameo in the live action. Ooh, I guess I should talk about the live action a little bit. But in between the last stream that we did on the One Piece manga, the Netflix uploaded a trailer teaser about Baroque Works for Season 2. And because of how much that trailer blew up the internet for a couple of days, I actually didn't see any spoilers or leaks for this chapter. Because all the One Piece stuff in my feed right now is about the live action. And that's just how the algorithm works sometimes. It's a good trailer. I love the music on it, and I kind of look forward to the OST for Season 2 coming out because of that trailer. Alright, back to reading page 7, I guess. Harold chose to debase himself before humankind, to connect his country to other lands and peoples. This made him a heretic. His are a tribe of warriors whose every drop of blood calls out for battle. Carelessly incorporating them into the government will lead to internal collapse. An ancient giant king of Elbaph who agrees to the covenant is a gift to Mu, the likes of which shall not be seen again. He was a king that Elbaph should never have had. And see what came of it? History does not lie. Our kinds are incompatible. Never forget that Elbaph is a D. I guess they're just going to use D as a superlative now from this point on to anyone that goes against the Celestial Dragons or enemies. So they're comparing Elbaph to the D. I'm wondering what the original Japanese says about this, and if it's a little bit more explicit. Alrighty, time to move on to pages 8 and 9. Let's see. Loki, this news will lead to great unrest in the kingdom. Oh, okay, so this is probably how they decide to cover it up. I'm going out to see Gramps. I'll take all the surviving guards with me. Oh, that's why we saw surviving guards in some of these shots. We were told that everybody died. I'll take all the surviving guards with me. And what of Harold's wishes? Tell the people of Elbaph what exactly happened. So what actually... So if everyone is in on it, why does he get chained in the bottom? Why does Shanks go out to sea and capture Loki 6 years in the past? Which I guess will be like 8 years after this takes place, because I think we're still 14 years in the past. I'm going out to sea Gramps. I'll take the surviving guards with me. What of Harold's wishes? Tell the people of Elbaph exactly what happened here. You know I can't tell them. Listen closely. Don't speak a word of what happened here to anyone. Well, the fact that Gabon is actually next to Loki telling this story in the present, we'll actually have a second source that also could have told us this whole story that can then verify everything Loki's saying as true or not when we eventually cut out of the flashback. So that's kind of good to know, at least. Do you understand who they'll blame for it? Jarl? He looks so badass with this angle. The way that they frame him with the sword covering his eye. How's that any different from usual? You really see a future where I become king and carry on my old man's ideals? But there are other ways I can live up to him. I'll take the powers I have and go avenge my dad and his soldiers. Okay, so he's gonna go try to attack Mary Joa. Alright. I think I said all I really need to say about these 2 pages. It kind of makes sense. So we're basically creating a conspiracy of secrecy. None shall speak of what happened on Elbaph. What happened in Orist Castle stays in Orist Castle. Alright, time to go to page 10 and 11. We're still talking about this. You're talking nonsense, Loki. The world government is a colossal organization. It's a task far beyond anything you can imagine. The Disaster. Terrible misfortune. Our Roost Castle has been attacked. Your Majesty. Shanks and Gabon don't have any lines about that. They just have a reaction panel of them saying nothing. Ellipses. So I sailed right off the island. Okay, we're cutting back to the present. We're back in the present. I just noticed. Because, like, the panels, it's fading from black to white, which means we're back in the present. Because all the flashback panels are, like, have black borders. Disaster, terrible misfortune. Horus Castle has been attacked. Your Majesty. So I sailed right off the island. I'm sure by the time you returned home, Haruden, I'd been fully transformed into Loki, the Father Slayer, in the public's eye. I certainly did enough to convince them I was capable of it. However, I'm not so far gone that I'd celebrate killing my own dad. I just didn't want everything he did to be undone because of what happened in the end. Or do you still think I should have told the country everything? And there is Gabon. We get a panel of Gabon. It's all true. Everything. Even the parts for God Valley where I wasn't there. Where Loki wasn't there to know what happened there. Unless we assume, like, some of those details were coming from Gabon. But then how do we talk about the stuff like Kong on a phone call with Garp? Like, he wasn't there for that. Do you get it now? I didn't want you to have all the dredge all this back up. Okay. Well, that's the end of pages 10 and 11. We finally did it. We're finally out of the backstory. We have been in this dang flashback since June of 2025. It is almost midnight on January 18th. I have been reading Loki telling a flashback that for much of it he wasn't there for, especially the parts before he was born. And we have been reading Loki's flashback for over 6 months. Ridiculous. Ridiculous, ridiculous. Alright. I think I've ranted enough on pages 10 and 11. Let's move to 12 and 13. Alright. I understand now why Chief Jarl argued for your clemency. Continued to protect you. In short, Father chose death over manipulations of the world government. And ever since the government has been an Elbaph's enemy. How do they manipulate him like that? As a matter of fact, these newly arrived Knights of God played a pivotal role in Harold's story. But Loki doesn't know exactly what happened to Harold in the Holy Land. Oh, are we going to get more from Gabon? If you need more details, I can explain. It won't be necessary for now, Mr. Ya. I don't need a reason to protect my homeland. Darn, we almost ended up going straight into another flashback from Gabon's point of view. Oh, God, that would have pissed everybody off. Oh, could you imagine? Anyway, so now let's talk about my backstory now that Loki's done talking. Oh. Did Loki take the last chain off? If we see eye to eye, Loki, it's love for our father. Allow me to apologize for that, if nothing else. Now fight with me. For Elbaph's sake. Also, isn't Loki supposed to be, like, uninjured and unable to, like, stand right now? Like, I thought it was gonna take, like, 3 months for his injury to heal. That being said, in real life, it's been longer than 3 months. Yeah, way to go, Loki. You can fight. Now you can fight. Yow. What was that? What was that yow? Oh, I just remember the name of the chapter is RAGNIR. He has a hammer. Is the hammer going to come flying to him like Thor in the fucking Marvel movies? Alright, page 14 and 15. We're not done yet. 17 will probably be the last page, if I had to guess. Oh, that caught me off guard. It's the giant Draugr from one of the nightmare beasts. That's it. That's what's raging up above. There's a whole bunch of them. Oh, it's Chopper that's informing us. Oh, yeah. Chopper's here. I kind of forgot Chopper's here. Where did it come from? Is that a Draugr? But those aren't real. Sounds like a perfect warm-up. You go on ahead. I can fly up. What's going on up there? Make it snappy, Hardin. Hey, Loki. We used to think you were a real bastard who killed our own father. Sorry about that, and everyone's apologizing. That's funny. But only for this one thing. All of your many other crimes still count. Just shut up and go. No one asked you to say all of this. Ah, this is amazing. I can move again. I'm free. We still didn't find out why he was chained up. Why did Shanks chain him up? And capture him 6 years ago. There's still parts of this flashback we need talked about. Alright, who's texting me? I wonder if it's about that dog sitting gig. That's what that was about. Alright. Where was I? Yeah, Loki's just getting it riled up. He's yelling. He's getting ready to do stuff. Are we going to get a big panel on the final page like last chapter? 16, 17, here we go. Yeah, we're going to get a big panel. Gao. Oh, Gabon's reacting. Hey, Ship Doctor, I appreciate your help here, but I'm concerned about my son. Alright, sure. Nice and gentle, Sanji. I didn't know you were going to stay here. What are you doing up here? I want to see how you fight it. So Luffy's on Loki's shoulder. So Gabon's going to go jump. I guess Gabon's going to go try to save his son. Alright then, show off your power, RAGNIR. Nibelheim. What happened? He's always making a giant crack of lightning and, I guess, ice? And he's just shattering the monster in one hit. And that's the final panel that we end on. Alright. So, 23 minutes and we've read through the whole chapter. Which means, I guess it's time to talk about chapter highlights. Obviously, big highlight for me is this slowly fading transition on page 10, signifying that we are now out of the flashback. I also do love, on page 9, this one panel of the sword in Jarl's head, just in the right way where it's actually covering up his eye to almost make it look like he has an eye patch. That's probably another one of my favorite panels. We get this interesting POV for Emu and the Elders. It's nice seeing Saturn again. May he rest in pieces. It's very interesting that Emu seems to not know what killed Harold. Which is kind of weird, because I was under the impression you were possessing Harold. Or like you could see through him or something. Which means I guess we get a little bit of a hint of the limits of Emu's powers. We got the gruesome panel that makes it kind of sort of imply Harold doesn't have an upper body anymore. Which is actually kind of funny when you think about it. People have been given some Usopp slander lately, but people forget that Usopp blew the entire upper half of Gunko up with one of their Skullgrass bombs. Those things are lethal. The fact that you can get hit with that and you just don't have a torso anymore, that's kind of crazy. Power scalers, I want you to scale Usopp to Loki. Anywho. Biggest highlight still to this day, we're finally back in the present. I am a little bit upset that there is some, it feels a little bit rushed. Oda does this thing where he likes to have certain milestone chapters or certain things happen by a certain point, and it feels like Oda is rushing through the ending of this flashback to get to something that they probably want to do, if I had to guess, by chapter 1175 or by 1170 or 1180, and didn't want to waste another chapter explaining how Loki ended up engaged to Lola that one time. Or, like, what Loki did on his adventure at sea. Why Shanks had to go out and capture him. And how he ended up chained up down here by Shanks. It's like, these are big questions that did not get answered. It makes me feel like this flashback, despite the fact that it was 6 months of the story, it feels incomplete to me, and that kind of upsets me a little bit. Am I glad that it's over? Yes. I feel like it could have been 2 different flashbacks. We could have gotten a Herald flashback, maybe later on, and we could have just gotten a Loki flashback here. The God Valley stuff could have been shown later on. I know people have been begging for the God Valley flashback for years now, but I think it was detracting from the story of Elbaph the way it was forced upon us. I have been a little bit more and more critical of the story lately, and I love this story. I just want it to be better. This is, granted, still 8 out of 10 material to me, but I have to knock those points off that are preventing it from being perfect. Anyway, got spooked by the giant Draugr because I looked away to check out my footage before I looked back and saw it. That's got to be a big highlight. And Nibelheim being mentioned as one of Loki's named attacks, where we end the chapter on. Alright, so we got to talk predictions for next time. So, the fact that so many people know the truth and have actually been keeping it secret all this time means that probably the wider public, by the time we leave the arc, will probably all know the secret of what happened to Harold. Speaking of which, we need to find out what happened to the giants that left with Loki 6 years ago. Or 14 years ago when he left the island and went on a rampage. Did he attack Mary Joa? Is that who's attacking Mary Joa right now? Those giants. It's probably the Revolutionary Army, if I had to guess. Or who knows? Maybe the Celestial Dragons are fighting each other and there's just a riot that's going on in Mary Joa right now. I think Gabon is probably going to go back up and try to save his son. That's something that seems to be getting set up here on this last page with Chopper and Gabon. Remember that this entire story was told to us in the span of 3 minutes, so now we get to do the fun debate of how much of it was canon. Honestly, a little bit surprising to me is it seems implied that Luffy actually listened to the story. Luffy never listens to people's backstories. I'm surprised he's just paying attention here and we just didn't get several panels of him picking his nose. I was half expecting by the time that we finally got back to here, we would have found out. But maybe we find out later, and this is another prediction, that Luffy wasn't paying attention to Loki all that much during this entire 6-month ordeal of a backstory. And frankly, Loki did do a lot of other crimes, so that is something that we need to consider as well, which I'm glad that it was played off for a gag. And I guess we're going to start seeing Loki use his powers more. Maybe we're going to get a confirmed name of his devil fruit. by the time next chapter. That's probably another big thing. We'll probably get his Devil Fruit power confirmed within a chapter or two. They're definitely saving it. The hammer probably also has a Devil Fruit for all I know. The fact that it looks like I'm assuming that he one-shotted this Draugr as well. The fact that we're getting a what reaction from Luffy means that Luffy found it impressive, so that's got to be good. Once again, please, Power Scalers, I want you to scale Usopp to Loki because both of them were able to do a similar matching feat. I love making fun of One Piece Power Scalers. I do it myself, but I do it mostly in all good fun. Okay. That's enough predictions. We've gone past the 31-minute mark. So, that's going to be all for now. Once again, plugging the channel. I have a Discord. Join it if you want to stay up to date on what I'm doing when I'm doing it. Or if you just want to hang out and chat. Otherwise, you can find me on Twitch. We stream this every Sunday. That there is a new chapter, and it scheduling conflicts with that. We'll try to do it the Monday after. As always, there's other stuff I do on the channel. We play a lot of Genshin lately. We do play Star Rail. But I also play card games. I also did a full playthrough of One Piece Odyssey. And somebody had told me that it might actually be worth picking up the DLC, going back and playing that as well. I didn't look into it too much when it came out. So that's something that we could also do on the channel if there's enough interest for it. I only started thinking about the One Piece Odyssey recently because a buddy of mine was playing with the Limb leader in the card game, the TCG. I was not aware that they were starting to make leaders for Odyssey characters. I mean, there's only 2, unique named characters in Odyssey that don't just use, default models. But, it's very interesting to see that. So, it might be worth going back and doing. If there's any other things you would like me to do, just let me know. Anywho, that's all from me. I'll see you all in the next stream, wherever that may be. And I got a lot of stuff in the pipeline. I've got about 8 hours of footage to edit, and maybe there's some stuff that I'll be recording over the next couple of days as well. Stay safe out there. Bye-bye.